financial problems, elder law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by Thav Gross. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome to this segment of Law and Reality. Brian Small, you're back. Nice to see you again.
A pleasure to be here, Ken.
With us, Trevor Cruz.
Thanks,
from
Ken.
our Debt Resolution and Bankruptcy Department at Thav Gross.
Great to be back with you
Both
again.
you guys are looking dapper as always. I want to pick up where we left off last week. We have a two-part segment. This is the second part. The title is Retired with Too Little Income and Too Much Debt. If you recall, I was the fictional client. I'm 75 years old. My wife Bonnie is 75 years old. And last week, I gave you my assets, my liabilities, my monthly income, and my monthly expenses, and we analyzed it and concluded that a Chapter 7 bankruptcy was the smartest solution to get rid of $50,000 of credit card debt and $7,500 of medical bills.
And the reason for that, just as a quick reminder, is it's real simple. It's the least expensive, most efficient methodology to get you out of debt, giving you the greatest opportunity to leave what you have in the bank in the bank.
And in that case, I had $10,000 of cash, and I also had a $100,000 IRA. And when we analyzed it, we figured out if I kept paying the credit card debts, because I was $845 short every month, I would run out of my IRA in 9 years. And at 84, Bonnie and I would have no cash in the bank. We'd have no IRA, and we'd still have $50,000 of credit card debt and be $845 short per month. That was the scene last week. This week I want to take a similar situation, but I want to change the facts slightly. We're going to put them up on the board so that people can see. I still have the cash in the bank at $10,000. I still have the IRA, but instead of renting, I own a home. And to start right now, my home has $50,000 of equity. Market value on the home is $200,000. I owe $150,000 on the home. Liabilities are the same. I still got the credit card debt, $50,000, $7,500 in medical bills. My monthly income, Social Security, myself $2,500, Bonnie $1,000. I work part-time at a golf course. I also drive for Uber, fictionally, $2,000. I got $5,500 a month coming in. My monthly expenses, instead of rent, this time it's a mortgage payment, taxes, insurance, and utilities, runs me $2,300 a month. I've got my other various expenses, including credit card debt, $1,250 a month. My total expenses are $6,345. My shortfall at the end of the month is exactly the same as it was last week, $845 a month. That's where I'm at. The question is, last week you said I could file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy.
Right.
The question is, could I do that this week?
So the only fact change is that you now, instead of being a renter, you have a $50,000 equity stake in your house.
Correct.
And you want to know if you can file a Chapter 7. The answer is yes.
Okay. Because I can exempt out that equity in the
There are
house?
certain things you get to keep when you file a bankruptcy. And you can choose federal exemptions or state exemptions. In this case, because of the age of the client, you're 75, we can look
I'm 75 and I'm proud of it.
We can look to
Son.
a greater exemption, which is available under the state of Michigan exemptions. Above the age of 65, you can exempt approximately $57,000 worth of equity in your home.
Right, so if I change my facts slightly and I say I have $65,000 of equity in the home, what happens then?
Well, you have an exposure issue, because if you can only protect $57,500, that would put $7,250, I believe, exposed. In other words, if you filed the Chapter 7 to get rid of your $50,000 for the credit card debt, there would be a possibility, there's a legal possibility, a trustee could come in and sell your house out from under you to pay $7,250 to your unsecured creditors.
Unless I came up with that money.
But we have the ability to come up with that money, and $7,250 is certainly much cheaper than paying $50,000 worth of credit card debt.
Plus $7,500 of medical bills.
Yes.
All right, let me just shift facts a little bit, and let's assume a Chapter 7 didn't work because I either had too much income.
Well, actually, in your situation, remember, you also, the fact pattern included $10,000 in cash. So you really have a $17,250 problem.
Okay, so let's say, what about a Chapter 13 bankruptcy instead as an alternative? Because there I have, first we have to figure out how much disposable income I have. And if you eliminate the credit card debt, which means you take my $845 shortfall, we add back the credit card debt at $1,250 because we're not going to be paying it. I've now got disposable monthly income. I'm flush $405 if I don't have to pay the credit card debt.
So you've got $405
left
left over at the end of the month if you don't have any credit card debt. So what we do is we look at what that $405 can do for you. And since this client has the majority of their income is Social Security, the majority of your income is Social Security, your income is below the median income because we don't count Social Security when we're determining median income.
Okay.
So $405, we would put you into a 36-month approximate Chapter 13. Chapter 13 can run no less than 36 months, no more than 60.
So on 36 months at $405 a month, I'd be paying into the Chapter 13 $14,580?
That's correct.
And by doing that, it would cover the cost of the bankruptcy, the attorney fees, and the rest would go to the creditors, and I'd be done.
In 3 years, you're out of debt.
I keep the house.
Yes, you keep everything.
So the bottom line is it cost me $14,580.
Against $50,000+ worth of credit card debt plus the interest.
And the Chapter 7 alternative, if I could fit in there, would have still cost me around $17,000.
It would have.
So
it would have been slightly less. It would have been around the same.
All right. We're coming up to a break, but if I didn't meet the 36 rule, the 36-month rule,
because your income was from other sources and you were above the
then
median
I would
income?
go 60 months?
That's correct.
So then it would cost me 60 times 405, which would be $24,300.
Correct.
Either way, I'm better off in the 7. 7's better than the 13 because I'm out faster in 4 months. But in the 13, I'm out in 3 years.
Correct.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
Worth Ave Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call Thav Gross.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call Thav Gross. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
A lifetime of hard work. If you don't have the right plan in place, you can lose your home, your savings, and more. And you didn't come this far to lose everything. Samasco Law wants you to know that laws are changing. Today, the average cost of nursing home care is $85,000 a year. With proper planning, we can help protect your life savings and get you the Medicaid nursing home benefits you deserve.
How much can you afford to lose? Call Samasco Law today.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
Thav Gross specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
Worth Ave Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
Worth Ave Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call Thav Gross.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call Thav Gross today, 888-235-HELP.
All right, welcome back. All right, so we've gone through this analysis with the Chapter 13, and I guess in my situation with Bonnie at 75, it comes down to the fact that because I have that $100,000 IRA, I could use that money to make the 7 work with the $17,500 of equity. But suppose I didn't have the IRA. Then in that case, the Chapter 13 would certainly probably be the best bet, wouldn't it?
It's what the goal is, to let the client eat, sleep, be happy, and utilize what they have left over to pay some or all of their debt over a period of time. In this case, as little as 3 years.
And it's only $14,000 over. Instead of paying them $1,250 a month and having it hanging over my head, I'm paying $405 a month, and I'm out of there.
And at the end of 3 years, when you're 78, you have no more debt.
And I still have my IRA.
And you still have your house.
I like that. Are there any other benefits of when clients use a Chapter 13 bankruptcy?
Well, sure. A lot of clients come in to see us for Chapter 13 because they've fallen behind on their house. A medical event has occurred. A misunderstanding between the bank has occurred.
And they're facing foreclosure on their home.
They're facing foreclosure. They've fallen behind on their property taxes because they took out one of those reverse mortgages.
What's the single most important thing you want to tell the viewers if they're behind in their home and facing foreclosure that they need to know?
You have to file the Chapter 13 before the foreclosure sale.
You got it.
Period.
That's right.
Well, but let me
Did you know that, Trevor?
I knew that.
Let me go back to that reverse mortgage thing I was about to talk about. Reverse mortgages
I didn't know you were going to talk about the reverse mortgage.
Are a very scary proposition out there. A lot of people are taking them out so that they don't have a mortgage payment. But a lot of people get confused and realize and think they don't have to pay their property taxes and insurance anymore because they're used to that being escrowed. When you take out a reverse mortgage, you are responsible for your property taxes and insurance. And when you fall behind on those property taxes and insurance, the lender can still foreclose even though you don't have a payment due on your mortgage.
I have a client who there was confusion as to his 2012 taxes, and he believed he had paid them. The lender then contended that they paid them $4,000, and they couldn't get it straight as to who had paid what, and he couldn't get any communication from the lender showing that they really paid the bill. They put him into foreclosure. We had to stop the foreclosure sale. We didn't have to file a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, but it was chaos and spend a lot of time dealing with the lender just to resolve that. Had he gone and faced foreclosure, you could have thrown him into a foreclosure and he would have had 3 years to pay back the $4,000.
Yeah, we could have put him into a Chapter 13 and he would have had the 3 to 5 years to pay back.
So if you're in any trouble on a reverse mortgage, don't let it go to foreclosure. A 13 is always there as a good remedy.
Absolutely.
And any foreclosure you're facing, file that foreclosure, file the Chapter 13 before the foreclosure sale. It stops the sale. Sometimes then we can renegotiate and get a modification in the Chapter 13.
Absolutely.
All right, let me change the facts now. Instead of $57,000 or $50,000 of equity in the house, I have $150,000 of equity in the house.
Okay, so you have $150,000.
Same thing. I'm still $405 short per month.
So here's where, unless you have no joint debt.
I have joint debt for $50,000 of credit card debts and bonding in both of our names.
If you have no joint debt, a Chapter 7 or a Chapter 13 will still probably work. We can make that work.
Okay, but I have joint debt.
Because you can protect an unlimited amount of asset in your home owned tenancy by the entireties.
That's using the state exemptions?
Yes, if you have no joint debt.
I
but
have
in this
joint
case,
debt.
You have joint debt. So
and I have $100,000 of equity in the house. Can I file a Chapter 7?
Chapter 7's out.
Why?
Because you have too much equity. I can't protect it.
Chapter 13?
It's legally not out, but you can't afford it. Because
and
you
I'd have to pay back all the debt, right?
For any dollar of exemption money, or any dollar of asset that you have that isn't exempt, you have to pay $1 back to your creditors. So in this case, you have $150,000 equity
I could
in the
exempt
home,
out how much?
$57,000.
And that's it. So then I'd have to pay back all the rest to the creditors?
If you filed the Chapter 13, you would have to pay back your remaining $57,000 worth of debt, credit card and hospital bills, over 60 months, plus trustee fees and attorney's fees. It would run you about $1,100 a month.
So, and right now it's costing me $1,250, so I'm not saving anything.
You are saving the interest that would accrue on all of that.
Is there a better alternative?
Yes, there is.
And is that what we call debt resolution?
Absolutely.
All right, we've got a couple minutes before we come to the break. I see debt settlement on TV all the time. In fact, I hear this commercial that says, "Brr, brr, if you filed the bankruptcy, turn the channel or turn the station. You won't want to hear this. You're entitled to settle your debt through this free program that's available." Is this what we're talking about?
Well, that's
it?
That's what I call.
Because I'd like to find what program is that?
You're up way too late at night, and you see a phone number flash across the screen. It's 1-800-SAVE-MY-BUTT.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's not.
Is that what those letters stand for?
Yeah, and that's not what they're going to do for you.
Right. So what is debt resolution?
You know what, Trevor? Why don't you tell us what debt resolution is?
Debt resolution is where we resolve your debts. And how do you do that? Well, what's the first step in the process?
Well, when you come in and you see us, we're going to take a look at the debt situation
I've
and
got
determine
$50,000 in credit card debt and $7,500 in medical bills.
and because of the other scenarios that we've gone through, you're a perfect candidate for debt resolution because you're not a candidate for the other simpler, easier ways to deal with it.
All right, so what do you do to settle the debt? What do I, is this some kind of a program that I get into, or I hire you guys as my lawyers, and how do you make the debt go away?
Well, first we take out our magic wand.
You do have a magic wand?
I do. It's amazing.
You should bring it to the would
I should try.
People would like to see this magic wand.
No, there's no magic wand. It is hard-nosed negotiation.
There is a magic wand. It's using your brain.
And what we do is, between Trevor and myself, we open lines of communication with each lender.
We stop paying them.
We do. We absolutely stop paying them, and we go to war.
And when you stop paying them, you use that money to save it, and you use that money to settle with them.
Correct.
When we come back from the break, we're going to explain it a little bit more thoroughly. We'll be back.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
Worth Ave Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call Thav Gross.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call Thav Gross. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
A lifetime of hard work. If you're approaching retirement and don't have the right plan in place, you can lose your home, your investments, and your savings. And you didn't come this far to lose everything. Putting a solid strategy in place with Samasco Law legally protects your assets as well as your wishes. Since a will doesn't cover you medically or financially, Samasco Law goes beyond ordinary asset management protection to safeguard everything you have.
How much can you afford to lose? Call Samasco Law today.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
Thav Gross specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
Worth Ave Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
A lifetime of hard work. If you don't have the right plan in place, you can lose your home, your savings, and more. And you didn't come this far to lose everything. Samasco Law wants you to know that laws are changing. Today, the average cost of nursing home care is $85,000 a year. With proper planning, we can help protect your life savings and get you the Medicaid and nursing home benefits you deserve.
How much can you afford to lose? Call Samasco Law today.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
Worth Ave Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call Thav Gross.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call Thav Gross today, 888-235-HELP.
All right, welcome back. All right, so before we get into the nuances and the steps that go into debt resolution, let me do announcements quickly. Office in Flint is up and running. I want to also welcome our Flint viewers on Fox 66. Check out our new websites, lawandreality.com and also thavgross.com. We have 2 new websites, lots of information available there, very easy to migrate the sites both on your iPhone and on your desktop. Seminar coming up, Wednesday, December 9th. Brian, our next seminar is The Best Gift is Becoming Debt-Free. Brian and I are going to be the lead presenters. Trevor's going to be there as well. We're going to go through all the steps that we take in analyzing your situation. The mantra is preserving future income for you and your family. The way that works is the faster way you eliminate the debt at the least cost in the fastest manner is the smartest move, because the sooner you are saving money, putting it in the bank, having it available. Very important if you're elderly, very important if you're not elderly. It doesn't matter. Preserving future income is the name of the game. 7 to 8:30 p.m. at our offices in Bingham Farms. That's Wednesday, December 9th. Sign up at lawandreality.com, or you can call 888-235-HELP. If you go to our websites, you'll see we have free reports. There's the Retiree's Guide to Social Security from Pat Samasco. That's available on both websites, as well as my report, How to Save Your Home with Regulation X, The Hidden Secrets. You can download those reports off of the website, or as Brian always asks me to remind people, you can also just call our offices at 888-235-HELP, and we will send you the reports. I want to thank our sponsors, Thav Gross and Samasco Law, and now I want to go back to debt resolution. All right, so let me just kind of give a quick synopsis of debt resolution. There's $50,000 of credit card debt, paying $1,250 a month. The concept of debt resolution works like this. We stop paying the credit cards. Over the course of 9 to 12 months, we do nothing other than talk to them, because we know the time to make the best settlements with the credit card companies are when they are approximately 270 days past due and they're close to what they call, quote unquote, charge off. And just so you know, charge off doesn't mean once it's charged off, you no longer have to pay. Charge off means they ship it out of the credit card department either to a collection agency or to a law firm to commence a lawsuit to collect the debt. During that 9-month period, by not paying the credit card debts, you have an ability to start saving up the money, and that creates the fund that we use to settle with the credit card companies over a period of 24 months from the time we stop settling. Sometimes we can get it done in a 14, 15-month period. Generally, we look at 24 months as the outside goal because we don't like things to linger on forever.
And that's one of the biggest reasons why we're different than that 1-800-SAVE-MY-BUTT company. Because when you call them, they'll sell you, and I assure you, they will sell you a 4-year program. And it sounds fantastic, except here's the reality. And this show is Law and Reality. You're going to get sued by every single one of those credit card companies if you wait 4 years to work on getting your debts dealt with.
Well, while you're talking about that, getting sued is another issue, because sometimes the time we settle the debt is either at the collection stage, or if it gets to a lawsuit, we deal with the attorney and settle it there.
Oh yeah, that's also the difference.
Big difference.
1-800, you know what? You read page 35 of their retainer, it says, by the way, we're not lawyers. We don't represent you if you get sued. Go find a lawyer.
And here we have Trevor and me, and we do represent you if you get sued. Part of our, and not only that, we charge 8.5% of the debt, whereas the debt settlement companies charge 15% plus monthly fees.
15
we
to
charge
18% actually.
A flat fee of 8.5% of the debt. If you're sued, we represent you, and the lawsuits are important because sometimes, let's say a creditor wants 80%. We don't want to pay 80%. We will let the creditor sue, and then we will file an answer to the lawsuit, and we will actually litigate a bit by asking for discovery and forcing them to have depositions. I always like to threaten to take the credit manager of the national office's deposition, because I want to ask him all of the procedures he uses to prove the debt. Because we found credit card companies are guilty of the same robo-signing type of things with affidavits that the mortgage companies were guilty of. And once you start tapping on those issues, all of a sudden the settlements come back down to that 30-40% range, which is what we need to make the program work. Debt settlement companies don't do that. They just say, oh, 80%, you either take the deal or you sue them, and then they say it's not my problem. Our retainer letter, 2 pages, 12-point font. 35-page retainer letter with an 8-point font. You need to hire me as your business attorney just to read that agreement to tell you all the things that they're not going to do for you. So let's suppose, in my case, $50,000 of credit card debt. Brian, what's it going to cost to get this stuff settled, attorney fees and everything? What's the basic number?
Let's just look at it and say it's around 40 cents on the dollar for settlement, 8.5 cents on the dollar for attorney's fees.
Let's assume 40% covers both, in this case, attorney fees and the settlement.
For mathematical purposes, then $20,000.
All right. In my case, I have $405 a month extra money in our analysis. I'm not paying them the $1,250. I was $845 short. I got $405. $405 over 24 months.
This is about 10 grand.
Okay, but I need another 10.
You had 10 grand in the bank.
The cash.
Yeah.
All right, so in that case, I supplement the settlements over 24 months. We get it settled. In 2 years, basically, I'm out of debt.
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's suppose I was short a little bit further. Trevor, would I take the money out of the IRA, or is that a last resort?
As a last resort, it might make sense to do that, but it would be to settle. So it's not like you're using the money to service the debt. You're using it to eliminate the debt.
Don't you always come up with this big speech, never, never, never?
Never bust your IRA unless it's the right decision and you've been advised to do so after some intensive thought and intensive review.
Look at the analysis we've gone through in the last 2 weeks, and you understand the philosophy. The game is to resolve the debt, not the game, because this is life, is to resolve the debt in the fastest, most efficient way. If a Chapter 7 works, which we covered last week, 4 months, the cost of a 7, maybe $1,500, you're done. If the 7 doesn't work, you look at a Chapter 13. If the Chapter 13 makes more sense and over 3 years you're only giving them back about $14,000, I think was the number, that's a good play. But if the 13 doesn't work because you've got too much equity in your home and you don't qualify for a 13, then debt resolution, and you end up paying them $20,000 over 2 years. Any way you look at it, you need to take action so that when the bottom line comes, you don't run out of money. And the way to do that is to come back and see us at Thav Gross. Have a great week. We'll be back next week.